If there was squatches, and then what do they think about us too? Because that would.
Oh, isn't that a great question?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to talk to us.
Was wood knocking. Oh my god, there's the trilling. That was a hoop. Ooh. There it is again. On that evening in August, I deliberately decided to set my chair up in one of those powerful energy spots, which is marked by this blue circle on the map. And I pretty much stayed within the boundary of that for the evening, even when I was moving around and filming stuff. And the first thing that happened was this series of flashing green lights in the trees to the east, which is marked by the green circle on the map. And I wasn't even aware they were there. I was looking in another direction, and my dog Jack actually started barking at them, which I thought was really interesting. And then a few minutes after that, to the northeast, marked by the yellow circle on the map, was wood knocking. And this was pretty much a first. I've had some strange things going on in the woods over the years, no doubt about that. But this was absolutely, positively, very clear wood knocking, made by beating some very large piece of wood on another large piece of wood. There was no mistaking it. And following that, I really felt like that there was something there. I felt like across the road I could feel this presence. It was making my senses tingle, and so I started panning the camera back and forth across the road, and it wasn't until later, after I got home and reviewed the footage, that I realized that where that red circle is on the map, there appears to be at least one and maybe two figures that were across the road watching me. And like I said, I could feel there was something there, I just couldn't see it. And so I sat down in my chair and I was winging it, trying to talk to him, I'm not afraid of you, you don't have to be afraid of me, I'd really like to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. And as I was doing this, that's when the whoops started. And there was a series of that. In the background, there was these trilling noises and what sounded like a cocktail party, actually 3 cocktail parties. In 3 different directions around me, and it sounded like a bunch of people having a good time, but they were far enough away I could hear the voices, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. I mean, it was really fast chatter. It was very odd, and so all of this takes place in the span of about 45 minutes. However, before all of this obvious activity started taking place, there were some things going on around my chair that I wasn't even aware of, some pretty exciting stuff. And I didn't realize this was even happening until after I got home and was reviewing the video. So I'm going to play a couple of those clips for you real quick. Just a few minutes later was when the lights started in the tree line towards the east. And as I said, I probably wouldn't even have noticed them if Jack hadn't started barking at them. What is it? Jack? Alright, so I'm looking in the same direction he is. Oh my. Please tell me that you picked that up. That was wood knocking. So after the wood knocking starts, of course, like I said, I'm really excited, and I stand up and I start panning the camera, my IR camera. I start panning it from where the wood knock occurred down as far left as I can go, and then panning it back up. And Jack's barking, he's carrying on the whole time, and I'm trying to tell him, stop, it's okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. And as I pan that camera down the first time, there's nothing there. And then I pan it down again, and about 100 yards away, right before I start the pan back to the right, there's a figure standing there, and I didn't know it was there. I did not see it on the camera at the time. It wasn't until after I got home and I was downloading the video and looking at some of it that I was absolutely shocked to see what looks like this large figure standing across the field from me, right in the tree line. When the camera lined up with it, it did this duck and turn move down to the right. So obviously it can either A, see in the dark, or B, it can see the infrared, which of course is a theory. But the way it behaved, it almost seemed like that IR light may have hurt its eyes. Jack, it's all right. Nothing to be afraid of. I'm just going to let the camera run. Let's see, there we go, pointed in that general direction. I'm just going to let the camera run. Let's see, there we go, pointed in that general direction.
I said something about, I'd love to talk to you or have you come up and visit or something. And I said Jack would probably bark, but I would ask him to stop. And as soon as I said that, down towards the west corner, I think I actually mistakenly said it was the east corner on the audio, but I was so excited I had my directions mixed up. But it was in the westward corner of the property. I get this whoop. And I was like, oh my God. So, and then it does it again. And so Jack starts barking and carrying on again. And I'm fussing at him. I'm like, I'm trying to invite some visitors here. Could you please calm down? So I want to put it out there that I'm not afraid of you, so you don't have to be afraid of me. As long as your intentions are benevolent and for the good of all involved, we would love to talk to you. Jack might bark, but I would ask him to stop. Okay. To the east, past the corner. Please, please, please tell me that the recording picked that up. It was woo! There it is again. Woo! Jack, no. Woo! Jack, stop. Please stop. Come on, stop. It's okay. Stop. I'm inviting guests here. Woo! And so I'm going to come out here and I'm going to sit one night a week for the next 8 weeks. And then I'm going to report back what happened. And at the end of that 8 weeks, I'm going to decide whether or not, based on what has happened, whether or not to continue. And I'm going to report all that back, just as it happens. This is not about evidence. People need to get their head out of their ass. The evidence is there. The DNA is there. We need to stop chasing our tails as to whether or not these things exist. They exist. There's no question about that. We need to get out of that stagnant pool of trying to prove their existence. We've already done that. What we need to do now is to move forward. I've never been opposed to the idea that Sasquatch had something going on that we didn't understand. I've never felt like that they were just a big dumb animal. Never thought that. The evidence just doesn't support it. Sasquatch may be either of extraterrestrial origin or have the ability to manipulate space-time and energy fields in ways that we don't yet understand.